Right, I'd like to introduce my website to you. It's called Learning versus Teaching. And if you've, after reading my website, if you'd like to go and mail me and put some comments, some suggestions, I'd be really grateful. So let's start. Um, this is uh, what it's all about. Why do educators need to know what's going on inside a child's brain? And even if we did want to know about it, why is it possible today? It's possible today simply because we have the means, we have the tools, we have the technology to go and research about the brain and find out what's happening inside this really complex organ, right? So we move on to the historical perspective. Historical perspective is really important for us to understand and appreciate and not criticize, but see what the environment was like, what the context was like, and form a good picture of how education used to be and why it needs to change. So from the very beginning, people would learn by aping their parents, by aping people who were knowledgeable about something. And then we had the industrial age where students would uh, learn from a certain teacher who would teach them, and they would need to pass a test. And, you know, then they would be absorbed into factories. So they did not really require a diversified, extremely complex workforce. They needed simple people who could perform some skills, and then, get paid at the end of the month. This is the crucial bit. What is the role of the teacher today? Why is it important that we change our teaching strategies and our style of, and we are pedagogue, we keep ourselves up to date with the latest information about brain research and other pedagogical strategies. The role of the teacher today is to guide the students, to help learning take place, simply put, and to understand how the child's mind works, to understand where the child comes from, in order to be best able to pander to that child's needs. So here I've created a small presentation using spicy notes where I looked at all the aspects of um, learning and why we need to why we need to have a learner-centered approach. For instance, an assessment should be not just a test like it used to be, 100 years ago or 50 years ago for that matter. It should be a constant assessment every day, something as simple as an exit slip or a anecdotal note or just simply observation or talking to the child. Then you have situation and context. Whatever you're teaching must be relevant to the child. Individual differences using the Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence determine what the child likes to do, what he likes to perform, and using that knowledge hook the child into learning. Motivation and effect, how we need to engage the child in a real life context, how they can apply that knowledge in a way that makes sense to them. And then we have what kind of knowledge should be relevant. And let's look at, if you click on one of them, suppose strategic processing, and then you need to go and you get a full screen, you can see this better. So you'd get a sort of synopsis. What is a strategic processing? Learners will be successful in life if they know how to apply their knowledge and solve problems. So critical thinking is really crucial. Then we come to the current theories. What I've done is I've taken the Walden link and created a little button, which is a nice tool in Weebly. And if you click on it, you get all the theories of learning from that website. And here I have put some classroom examples, which I'll come back to as the page loads. In the meantime, we go to the brain and look at the structure of the brain. Here, we try and sort of prescribe, like look at the brain more clinically and see which part is related to what part of learning. So the frontal lobe, the occipital lobe, the temporal lobes, the parietal lobes, and the hippocampus and stuff like that, looking at the nerve in detail. And also knowing at what stage the brain is easily molded and reshaped by teachers, how networks are formed, at which stage do they stop forming, at which stage is there a dip in the learning, and then using that knowledge and giving a reason as to why a child behaves in a certain manner, can't hear, can't see, or then you just don't say, oh, this child can't hear or can't see or has really difficulty memorizing patterns. There's a reason behind it. So here I put some videos about these tools that we need to, how do we bring about, how do we improve children's long-term memory by a sort of a skill, a strategy such as questioning. So I put a video over here to show you what goes on in my classroom. And I'm putting a sorting out activity where children learn by handling things, by touching them, by making sense of them, by creating a pattern, and that's what sorting activities. Then giving them that real life approach, solving a problem. So here there are lots of presentations of my children. Here's a kid making 3D shapes using marshmallows. Here's a kid designing a compound machine using his knowledge of simple machines to solve a problem in his house. Here's peer teaching where peers help one another. This one is an archaeological dig where the children pretend to be archaeologists. So lots of fun examples of what I do in my classroom and how these strategies actually fit into what we're talking about. And then I have the last page where we talk about technology and how some teachers find it really hard to understand children, and one way of speaking their language is speaking the language of technology. This is one of the forte in my class areas where I feel I'm strong in. My kids tweet, my kids use many Web 2 tools such as Prezi, Glogs, and Tundus, podcasts. We Skyped with a school in Australia. We Skyped with a focus group which handles disasters when we were doing natural disasters. They were based in New Delhi while we were in Hyderabad. And the children realized that they can reach beyond the walls and tap people. So lots of interesting ways to hook children and find ways. So we go back to that page where this is another Glockster I'd created where the theories of learning and the ones I use in class, I sort of focused on Edward de Bono, and here multiple intelligent, Vygotsky's social, constructive learning, genetic epistemology, and these are a few of them I chose, and I posted a video that demonstrates this. So I hope you enjoyed listening to me. I'm not the best presenter, but I tried my best. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.